Just tell me when you correctly see my screen, please.
We can see it.
Okay, perfect. So I will start now to have all the time I need. Thanks for the introduction. So yes, I will talk about using YAML files in Azure DevOps to manage the deployment of the solutions, Power App solutions, if everyone would understand the details. My name is Raphael Pothin. I'm a Power Platform enthusiast. I'm based in Montreal, Canada. I work as a business solutions consultant. I work mainly on the Dynamics 365 sales, project service automation, and human resources applications. You can find here the different way to contact me. Also the QR code to my LinkedIn profile if you want. Do not hesitate to ask me questions there or just to come and to discuss about this topic with me. I will be happy to answer to you. So we'll start with some basics. Why you should use YAML or not for your deployments. So I've made a little comparison between the two ways you can configure your pipelines in Azure DevOps. So there is a YAML way and the classic UI. I will begin with the YAML way. First, it's code. When you work with YAML, it's just a code file, so you can store it in your repository, and you have all the advantages that come with that. You can use pull requests, you will have commits, you will have all the history, you will be able to collaborate around the files, you will be able to share portion of codes with people in your company, but also with the community if you want to answer on the forums. So it's really the main point. Also, it's the CICD industry standard. So you can find YAML in GitHub, GitLab. All the main platforms around DevOps use YAML. So look, you can see using YAML for your projects like a starting point, and that will give you the ability to tomorrow perhaps manage your Dynamics 365 or Power Apps project in GitHub, because you will be able to use YAML. You are not attached to one platform. There is still some features missing in YAML compared to classic UI, like for example the gates in the release pipelines part of Azure DevOps. But I'm sure some things will come in the future, and even now you can find some workarounds for these missing features. And the last negative point about YAML, you need to learn some basics if you want to start. I hope during this session you will have the main basics to start your YAML journey for DevOps. But yes, you have to learn a little bit to be operational. In the other hand, classic UI, it's really user-friendly. Okay, you drag and drop things, you just configure some boxes. It's really too easy to start with classic UI. And in the same way, it's really easy to onboard a new team member working on your Power Platform projects or Dynamics 365 projects. Like I've mentioned before, in classic UI, you have features that are not already in place in YAML, like gates. And I think the main pain point, perhaps it's why you are in this session today, it's no longer the default option in Azure DevOps. So when you will want to create a pipeline in Azure DevOps, you will need to find the correct button if you want to use the classic UI, because the big button will be for YAML. And then it's a bit more difficult to manage changes and to collaborate around the configuration of your pipelines with classic UI. It's easy to use, but if you have a big team or if you collaborate with many people in the organization, it's not the best way. But if you look the big picture, the conclusion is not simple. There is not perfect answer for now because the two options are still available in Azure DevOps. So you have to choose based on your team, who is in your team, and also what you want to do. For example, if you have a team only with citizen developers, no professional developers, no DevOps experts, I think Classic UI is still the best option. But if you have a DevOps expert in your team or a professional developer who want to learn YAML, I think you should go for YAML. And the last strategy, I think you can use an hybrid strategy, for example, using YAML for your build pipelines and still using Classic UI for your release pipelines because you want to keep missing features like gates. Okay. So that's it for the comparison. And now we will go to the start. You will see how you can start to use YAML in Azure DevOps for your Power Platform solutions. So the first steps, it's really easy to convert a Classic UI pipeline to YAML. Okay, Microsoft provide a documentation to do that. It's not for Power Platform solutions, but you can follow it. It will be easy. And I will show it to you now. So if I go to here to my Azure DevOps project, I'm already on pipeline built with the Classic UI. And what I will do is I will create the same pipeline in YAML. Okay, so the first thing, I will duplicate this tab. I will go back to pipelines and I will go for a new pipeline. As you can see here, the first options now, it's YAML. And if you want to go for Classic UI pipelines, you have to use this little hyperlink at the bottom of the options. So here I will use Azure GitOps, Azure repository, sorry, and select my repository, and I will have two main options. You have more here, but it's not really useful for Power Platform solutions. So we will stick to these two options. The first one, it's a starter pipeline. You will have two steps as examples in this YAML pipeline. And the second one is you can create a pipeline directly from a YAML file that is in your repository. In that case, we will go with the starter pipeline. Here, you can see that you have to specify the path in your repository where you want to store your pipeline. I will let it like that for now. And as I said before, you have a sample YAML pipeline with a trigger condition. Here you have the definition of your agent. So it will be an Ubuntu latest for the sample and two steps script. Okay. So here in my pipeline in Classic UI, I can go on the agent job, and here I have a view YAML button. I will click on it, and I will be able to say copy to clipboard. I will come back here to my YAML file. Here. Okay, so first things, because here it was pipeline I triggered manually, you have here to specify that you can edit your pipeline directly here. So I will do this for now. Trigger known, it says that I will trigger this pipeline manually, okay? And in the same time, here I have to specify the VM image, and in that case, it's a Windows 2019, okay? And the last point, to manage here for my pipeline is manage variables. Okay, in my classic UI pipeline, I have 2 variables here, and I have to define these variables in the YAML pipeline. And here you have the button to do that. I will copy paste just the name of my variable, create new variable. I will put a name. I will get here the name of the connection I use. And you have 2 options. You can keep the value secret, and you can let the user who will trigger the pipeline to override this value. Okay, but I will let it like that for now. And I create the second one with the solution name. And I will put the default value. Click on save. And that's it. I've just convert my classic UI pipeline, into a YAML pipeline. The last thing, it's when you will save, it will give you the inputs needed to commit your pipeline definition in YAML to your repository. So I will let it like that. I will save. And just to show you it works, and I hope it will work. Oh, okay. I just come back here, check my variables. Okay, I have them. And I click run. It's because I did not provided the option to override the variables that they are not available when I click on run. So here is the first way you can do it. I will let it run for now, and I will come back to my presentation. We will just check it in a few seconds. The second option to create a YAML file is from scratch. If you are an experienced developer with YAML, you can do it directly from Visual Code. For example, you can configure your YAML file here, put it in your repository, push it to the cloud, and create your pipeline directly from your file. But it's not the easy way, I will say. But you can, from your pipelines here, you can say new pipeline again, Azure repos git, YAML demo, my repository, and I will still use starter pipeline, okay? A second name because I have already this one. Here, I will also say known. I will change that for Windows 9, 2019. And I will delete all that, okay? And now, just like in the classic UI, I will select the steps I need to publish, export, unpack, and commit my solution. And Azure DevOps helps you in this task because there is an assistant. Okay, so first thing, Power Platform installer. Okay. Use the default version, add, and here it is. Okay. Then publish, Power Platform publish customization. Here I select my connection. And you see it's really simple. Just be careful when you edit the file directly here because sometimes it's not perfect. Export solution. Okay. Same time I use because I always miss the name of the variable. I keep them here. File here, and I will export it as unmanaged for the solution. So yeah, I add steps and back. where I got my solution and then where I want to put the files, still unmanaged. And here, you see, it's really simple. Okay, I will save that one just in case. And I will come back here and you see that my job is still running. Just like in the classic UI, I add the Power Platform tool installer, I add the publish customization, export solution, unpack solution, and the last step, commit the files to the repository. Okay, here I have a error. I don't know why. A little thing missing, but normally you just have to copy paste the YAML definition and it will work. Perhaps some test around I've break something. So you have seen the two main ways to create your YAML files directly from Azure DevOps. And now we will go for an example of CICD strategy for your Power App solutions. Okay, I've made some research because I'm not an expert on branching strategy in DevOps, and I've come up with this idea. It's the release flow branching strategy. It seems it has been created at Microsoft and it's still used on many projects. And the key of this branching strategy is that you have a main branch. And in this main branch, you always have what is in production or what is ready to go for production. When you want to work on a new feature, for example, a new work item you have in Azure DevOps, you will create a branch, a feature branch. You will work on that branch, and then when everything is ready for you on your dev environment, you will create a pull request to be able to push your new customizations to the main branch. At the end of the sprint, for example, when you will have all your features ready for production, you will generate a release branch, and it's from that release branch that you will push your new customizations to production. Okay, so I've implemented this strategy on a project, a demo project, and I will show it to you now. So I come back here on the project release flow strategy demo. I have a work item I have to work on. Here it is. So it's a simple one. As a manager, I want to know how many visitors come to a national park per day, so I have better insights. Okay, and directly from that item, work item, I will create my branch. Okay, just to keep some organization, because I will need it later. I need the unique name of my solution. Here on my work item, I'm able to create directly a new branch. Need some organization in your branching names, and I will call that US4 for user story number 4. Okay, so here's the name of my branch I will work on now. If I come back here, I look at my branches, I see I have the one I just created. I already implemented the updates of for this working time on the environment because it will take some time to trigger some pipelines. It's just I've added 3 fields, one average number of visitors per day, max number of visitors per day, and min number of visitors per day. And here I am in my dev environment. So the idea is that here on my release flow, I have a commit customizations to work branch pipeline. I can click on run. It's not on my main branch I want to work. It's on my features national park management US4. Okay, and I have three variables I need to update. 3 new fields. Okay, update this one. Service connection name. It's the name of the connection linked to my dev environment. And solution name, it's the unique name of my solution. Okay. Then I come back, check, and I click on run. And when it will run, I will just show you where do I have, what do I have in this pipeline. So here, as you can see, you can put some comments in your pipeline definition. So it's really interesting to describe what you are doing at each steps. It's for collaboration. It's for when you want to share your code with someone. It's really easy to understand. I'll define here my agent, the virtual machine where I will work on. And then I have the steps. Okay, Power Platform tool installer. I publish the customizations. Here I export the solution. I unpack the solution, and then I push all the files to my branch. Okay, it's really on the branch I will work on. Check how it is going. Here, if I come back on this slide, there is a pipeline here who will get the customizations. But you have other ways. For example, you can avoid a pipeline here and just work with commit. If you have a team just with developers who are always in Visual Studio Code or another Visual Studio, but Visual Studio Code, I know an extension for, I will show you now. You can have, for example, the CDS for code extension. It's free. Here you will have all your solutions. So you have the features that enable you to export and unpack a solution as unmanaged directly from here. And then you just have to launch a commit to the branch, and that gives you the availability to just work with code. Where is my national? Okay, here, National Parks Management solution. I'm able to make an export and unpack, and then I will specify the folder. Obviously, previously you need to get your repository and go to the right branch on your laptop. But when you've done that, you are able to just work with commit and extensions like that. But if you do not have only developers in your team, you can work with a pipeline like this one. Okay, so I have all the new files in my repository. I will just check. Okay, if I check the entity history, 3 new fields. Okay, so I can compare, and I will see here that I have the fields I just have created. So it's great. We have our customizations on our feature branch, so we will create a pull request to push this to main because we are happy with our customizations. You can create the pull request for different places, but just to continue to work with my work item, I come here on my work item. I see I have my branch, and I can create a pull request. The pull request will have by default the name of your last commit as a title and as description. I will let this as it. I say create, okay? And here, as you can see, there is a build pipeline that automatically triggered to check the quality of my pull request. And this one is a bit long, so I will try to show you what he is doing. Check pull request quality. And as you can see here, there is something a bit different. and give me the opportunity to talk to you about that. By default, when you create a pipeline in Azure DevOps, I think it's with YAML or with the classic UI, you have what we call only one stage and one job. Okay, so you will just put your steps and it will run. Okay, just like this, for example. And as you can see, you have only one job here. But with YAML, you have the availability to configure a multi-stage pipeline. So you can build jobs, but also deployment jobs in the same pipeline definition in YAML. I think it's pretty powerful because, for example, here in this check pull request quality, I have here an initialized pipeline that do nothing, but it's just to give me the ability here to show you that you can have 2 stages in parallel. I have this one here to check the quality of the code. If you want to see if there's a password in the code or something like that. And in the same time, on another agent, you will run unit tests on the code. Okay, so if you have plugins, PCF or TypeScripts, you can use this kind of things. Then when all the code is good for you, you can go for a solution checker. Okay, just like in the makepowerapps.com, you will be able to check your solutions and verify that everything is okay for you. And you can define a threshold that, for example, if there is one node in the solution checker, you will stop your pipeline here. And in this stage and in this job, I generate 2 artifacts. Okay, the first one is a serif file returned by the solution checker, where I will have the results of the analysis. And here I have my unmanaged solution. Okay, because I need to generate to pack a solution to be able to launch the solution checker. So I make both steps here. And now I will generate the managed solution from the packed solution I got here. And to do that, I will import the unmanaged solution to a build environment and then export this solution as managed. The next step is to import the managed solution to a feature test environment. Okay, what I want to do here is to test, to launch here UI unit test or integration test on an isolated environment. So checks that the feature I just pushed is really good. It's these steps that take some time. Do we have some question already? I don't know if there is questions. Not for now. Okay. So we will just wait a bit the execution here. I think it will take a bit of time. And I will begin to talk about the last interesting point about YAML. I will show it to you here. I have 2 pipelines here, deploy customizations to QA environment and deploy customizations to production. These pipelines, I will use them here. When the pull request will merge the feature branch with the main branch, it will create a commit on the main branch. And on that commit, I will automatically trigger my pipeline to deploy this new version to a QA environment. And this pipeline will do a bit the same as the one that will push the customization to the production environment. So when you have pipelines that do the same things, I would say, but with some differences, of course, you are able to define templates. Okay, just I want to, in one screen, wait for the executions. Okay, just here because it will need my help. Here, if I come back on this pipeline that will deploy my customizations to QA environment, you will see here this step. Okay, so here I have a stage. I will zoom. I can zoom a little bit. Okay. Okay. Here I have a stage pack solution with only one job, pack solution. Okay, and obviously I will have the same thing to deploy to production. But here it's from my main branch, and in the pipeline for the deployment to production, it will be from my release branch. And here it's the path to a template YAML file where I have the steps to deploy and pack, to pack and manage, the solution. And I do not have a pipeline for that. I just have the YAML file. Here in my pipeline templates, I have the pack and managed, okay? And here I just find my steps. That's all. And when Azure DevOps will run this pipeline, it will check, okay, here I have to play a template. It will look at this template file and it will play these steps using the variables I have defined in my parent pipeline. So it's really powerful if you need if you have big YAML files with multiple steps, multiple stages and jobs, but some of them you can reuse them in another pipeline, define templates, and it will help you to organize all your code, all your YAML definitions pipeline. Okay, it will finish soon. So I defined all in this pipeline, all the steps are templates. And here I have a small difference. I have a parameter, okay? Because for the deploy template pipeline, I need to specify the connection, okay? Because the connection is linked to an environment. So as an input, I zoom a bit. As an input, I've said that I have a targeted environment. It's a string, no default value. And here I will use the input parameter. So for the deploy to QA, here I will specify QA. And for the deploy to production, I will specify production, obviously. Okay, still some time. This one is a bit, takes some time. So, do you have some question? Okay, how does the deployment of Canvas apps and Power Automate work without connection? For now, I'm not sure you can easily configure. If you talk about just your Canvas apps, you want to export like a zip and then move to an environment. There is no step, I don't think so, in the Power Platform build tool that allows you to just move one Canvas app. But you can put it in one solution and then you can move it to another environment. And it's the same for Power Automate.
Yeah, so my question was really towards using connections, because connection is not part of this solution component, right? whereas Canvas app and Power Automate can be part of the solution. When you're deploying from dev to test, let's say, then once it gets deployed, which connection does it use? Because there could be multiple connections on the target system. So how does it recognize which connection to use?
Yeah, it's a good question. For example, in my case, I mainly use the CDS current environment connection because I work mainly on Dynamics 365 and all thing around CDS. So when I push, when I move my solutions using Canvas Apps, Power Automate, I will have everything ready, I will say like that. But if you use other connectors, I think you will have to act more manually on it after the deployment. Because today, I think when you deploy Canvas apps using another connector to, for example, a SharePoint environment, a SharePoint dev environment, and then you want to get the SharePoint production environment when you are in production. I'm not sure you can do it automatically, but you have some, for the CDS, it's good for now, I will say. But yeah, for other connection, I don't have the answer like that. Sorry.
This is Phil. Can I jump in on that one?
I will come back to the question later because here I see my pipeline is waiting for me. So, okay, so now I have my managed solution ready for deployment to my feature test environment, but it's waiting for me, okay? That's not defined in the YAML pipeline, but it's defined on the environment here part. But I'm able to control the deployment to each environment, make an approval process. So here I will approve, and then I will be able to wait and come back to the question. And yeah, good, Danish. I'm happy you have learned something with the template. I just learned this a few days ago reading a blog article. So yeah, same. I decided to integrate it to my presentation. So yeah, here it will just import the solution to the feature test. And here it's again a fake stage just to show you that you can have your UI unit test here or integration test. For the just a tip for the first configuration of my pipelines. Oh, I hate that. For the first configuration of my pipelines, I often do it directly in Azure DevOps because I do not know all the syntax for all the steps. But when I am updated a pipeline, I often work only with Visual Studio code. So I have here my pipelines. I insist. Okay. And I have here my pipeline definitions. I work here, and then I'm able to use the source control pane to make my commit and to push my code to my branch. I find it easier like this. And what I've not mentioned too is you can have your branches to update your pipelines. For example, sometimes you can have a step that you will configure with PowerShell or script because it is not available yet in the Power Platform build tool. But if tomorrow the step is added or the action is added to the Power Platform build tool, you will be able to create a branch just to configure your pipeline definition update, to test it, and then to push it to your main branch. So it's really interesting to work like this. Okay, it's Phil that confirms that the connections must be reestablished manually. But like I said, I don't know if it's the only one or not, but normally the CDS current environment connector, you do not need to reconfigure your connections when you move your solutions from dev to QA or to production. Okay, I hope, I don't know how much time I have left. I'm not sure that's a lot, but I will just show you what's the next step based on here yeah.
Hi, Raphael. It's about 2 minutes.
Okay, perfect. I will try to. I hope the pipeline will finish here, but I'm not sure. It's quite long when you have to export, import many times on many environments in the same pipeline. It can take sometimes. This pipeline take around 70 minutes to run, so it can be a bit difficult to show in a presentation. So like I said, here we are, the pull request. Then the last step will be to approve and to merge the pull request. I can't do that until the pipeline finished, okay? Because it's a required step, so obviously I can't go further. When you are here on your work item, if everything is ready, your pull request has been merged, you are able to create a new branch from here and to call it, for example, S3 for sprint 3, just like I called the other one. And then from this release branch, you will be able to manually trigger when you are ready to deploy to production, manually trigger the last pipeline that is deployed to customization. And it's an easy pipeline because it's just pack your solution from the release branch and import it to. Oh, yeah, it's done. Cool. I will try to finish a bit short of time, but just to launch. Okay, so I need to approve my pull request. All green. I will complete my pull request and make a squash commit to push it to the main branch. Complete merge. Okay, here it's ready. And if I come back to pipelines, here I see that because I've just merged my pull request, the deploy customizations to QA automatically trigger. Okay, but depending on your organization, you perhaps just want to make a schedule for the deployment to QA every night. For example, you will deploy to QA based on the state of your main branch. Yeah, that's it. I don't want to take more time about the other speakers. So if you have other questions, what about custom component deployment integration with deployment? If you talk about PCF, when you talk about custom component?
Yes, I'm talking about the custom component with respect to PCF.
Oh, okay. So you are talking about how you deploy your PCF to your environment?
Yes, yes.
I think it's part of your development process. So you will you will configure your PCF from a dev part. Then you will test it on your dev environment, and you will have this PCF as part of the solutions. So then when you will move the PCF, it will be as a solution, but you still will have the code in your repository. I'm not a PCF developer, so it's just an assumption, but I will do it like that.
Okay,
yes,
but
no, you're absolutely right, Raphael.
Oh, thank you.
No, Danish, the last question is like during that process, so will have a branch supports for pipeline support during the approval for custom component integration with DevOps while moving the changes from dev to Q staging?
Raphael, you want to answer that, or do you want me to?
I did not really understood the question, so if you understood, I let you answer.
So I think you're talking about just concentrating on PCF controls. So if that's the case, you can definitely create a separate PCF control solution. And then what Raphael showed how the deployment process is, you just follow the same process. And and when you're pushing from dev to QA, you just put a approval process in between, a gating process.
Okay. That doesn't break anything during the process.
It shouldn't. Yeah. Yeah. You just have to make sure that the dependencies are installed. So if you're importing forms before custom controls, then obviously it will break. So you have to make sure that your custom controls are deployed first, followed by the forms and wherever it's been used.
Yeah, I got it. Because we will be moving that as a component. That I got it.
Okay, guys, thank you. We're at time. Thank you, Raphael.
Thank you very much, all of you, for your participation, and I hope you learned a lot and you enjoyed.
Definitely. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Okay. Up next, we have